As a pastry chef, I like to think about the entire eating experience. So I think about how the dessert looks because we eat with our eyes first, so that's really important. Then, with that first bite, I want them to experience a symphony of flavors and textures that complement each other perfectly. Almonds, which I love, can be a delicious inclusion that works in harmony with many types of dessert. Hi, and welcome to the Almond Butter and Chocolate Masterclass series, a partnership between the Almond Board of California and Ecole Chocolat Professional School of Chocolate Arts. My name is T. Lauren Simon. I'm a pastry chef and a chocolatier in the Boston area. I'm also the owner of Cirque du Soufflé, a specialty dessert and chocolate company. I also am an instructor at Ecole Chocolat. The reason I love working with almonds in my desserts is because of their versatility. They provide a wonderful range of flavor and texture when you can choose how much roasting to use or how fine to chop them. I'm going to be showcasing two of my favorite desserts that combine chocolate with almonds. One ingredient I use in both of these desserts is almond butter. The thing I love about almond butter is that you can make such a variety of almond butters using roasted or unroasted almonds and then grinding it to create an entire variety of textures. Creamy, thick, velvety. It just has so many uses. The first dessert is a chocolate and almond blood orange mousse cake in a plated dessert style. In this dessert, I want to focus on the palate of the person enjoying it, both in mouthfeel and in flavor. So for me, the blood orange is kind of the backup singer for the main duet of the chocolate and the almond butter. I'll start with the bottom layer, which is a blood orange almond financier, which is a fancy French term for an almond cake that I've lightened with some blood orange zest. In this dessert, I want each textural component to create a really delicious eating experience in both texture and flavor. And so for the texture of the almond butter, I chose a really, really smooth almond butter so that the cremeux just kind of melts in the mouth and fills you with this amazing almond flavor. By incorporating the almond butter into the cremeux, the addition of the almond fat is creating this softer and more pillowy experience for the eater. The next layer is a silky smooth almond butter cremeux, another French term meaning full of or like cream, and is basically used to describe anything that falls between a mousse and a pudding in terms of lightness. The next layer is a blood orange caramel surrounded by a dark chocolate mousse. To finish off this dessert, I'm going to use a dark chocolate mirror glaze and then dip it in a chocolate crunchy almond dip. This consistency change is going to create a really beautiful mouthfeel, and by roasting the almonds, I'm also intensifying the almond flavor of the dessert as a whole. Working with almonds in many different forms, including almond butter, gives you a really beautiful variety of consistency and flavor. By combining the soft mousse and then the crunchy almond dip, I'm creating a really beautiful experience from start to finish. The second dessert is a tart that is a modern almond twist on a traditional Black Forest cake. Because who doesn't love Black Forest cake? When I was coming up with this dessert, I wanted to take the traditional flavor profile of a Black Forest cake, but I wanted to lighten it up because usually Black Forest cake can be a little bit dense, a little bit heavy. So by switching it up into an almond chocolate mix, I've created this really beautiful light experience that still gives you all the flavor notes of the traditional cake. I know I've mentioned a lot about how versatile almond butter is, but there really are so many uses for it in your confections. In this dessert, I start with an almond and chocolate crunchy shell that will form a coating for the crust of the tart. For the tart shell crust, I use a combination of almond flour and pastry flour, and for me, the almond flour just really adds a nice richness in the flavor to the tart shell itself. The next layer is a silky and smooth almond cream. The combination of the almond butter and the cream creates this really light yet rich in flavor almond cream that really complements the chocolate and the fruit. Then I bring in that traditional cherry flavor with a cherry and raspberry compote. I added the raspberries because frankly, why not? Now we get to do my favorite part, the piping of all the components. I love this because this is really where I get to kind of tap into my creative side and just create this visual spectacle of a dessert. I'm gonna pipe a layer of almond butter chantilly cream, a layer of chocolate cremeux, and a layer of cherry cremeux. Now I'm gonna top this dessert with a crunchy almond nougatine. The thing about this crunchy almond nougatine is it gives you that like crunchy topping sensation, but also it enhances the almond fabulousness inside. The chocolate in this dessert pairs beautifully with the cherries and the almond cream. Both of these desserts do a great job of pairing almond butter and chocolate in this wonderful harmony that creates such a variety of textures and flavors. I just really love how much versatility you get with just 2 ingredients. I hope these desserts have inspired you to work with almonds and almond butter in your next chocolate dessert adventures.